be the Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras!
Oh, it's carnival time, almost.
Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight, we are here with David Rowe, the captain and founder of Societe, the Champs Elysee.
That's correct.
So,
Your French is pretty darn good.
So, let's start off with, tell us a little bit about the origins of the crew. I know that y'all first started parading on the streetcar in 2016 or 2017?
2017.
Was that the original or the
year that the streetcar came here? I got on the streetcar on the very first streetcar that left from here, and when I got back home, there was a message from a friend who said, "We're going to have an accordion flash mob on the streetcar this afternoon. We want to come?" And I sure did. We got on with the group. We went all the way up, playing accordions and singing, and everybody having a great time. Got to Union Station, and we got back to Canal Street, and officials from the RTA got on and said, "You're going to all have to stop playing music." There was a complaint, and music is not allowed on the streetcar. And I said, "Well, I rode with Funny 40 Fellows for years, and the man said, well, if you rent the car, you can play the music." And so when we got back home, I went online and looked and said, it's $1,000, and you have to put down a $200 deposit, and I just did it. And within a few days, I had come up with the bare bones of a crew and had enough people already chipped in to cover the $1,000 for the streetcar ride. And I've been in other Mardi Gras crews and been in Crew de Vue, was in the Funny 40 Fellows, and it was just a natural thing to have a streetcar crew down here on this side of Canal Street doing the same thing they do uptown.
I was kind of curious as what would have led to. I mean, because there's a second one behind Funny 40 Fellows now, Funktown Uppy.
Yes.
Uptown Crew.
Yes.
And then,
for the kids.
Yeah, and then they have Joan of Arc's going the same time. That's not really the same. But to kind of clash with them, not clash necessarily, but like try to ride at the same time.
Errol Laborde has a problem. His crew always was the kickoff at the Carrollton Bar. There's an official reading and stuff. And I'm good friends with Amy, who started Joan of Arc, and she was totally unaware that when she started Joan of Arc, she had a lot of kids, and they're marching outside, and it's always cold, and so she figured that, I think they started the first year like 5:30 or something, and she was at a party a couple of years later and met the Labordes and discovered that they were very unhappy that she was doing a thing before them. And she said, "But we're not a carnival crew. It's Joan of Arc's birthday."
Right.
Joan of Arc the Society of Joan of Arc has nothing to do with Carnival or Twelfth Night,
right? Except
that it's Joan of Arc's birthday, and so it's and we've taken great pains when we have ridden the streetcar. We get on the streetcar after they do uptown, not stepping on anybody's toes.
Well, I think that's the traditional kickoff anyway, at least in my mind. So I think you're doing that right. Beyond not stepping on toes.
It's homage.
I think traditionally it's right.
I figured after the second year we did it that surely somebody would take the Mid-City line, take that Canal Street line, and ride that. It's actually a longer route. You go through a lot more different neighborhoods and stuff, and because it goes up through the neutral ground, that would be like somebody should be doing that one, because you have your choice of going to the cemeteries or going to
the city park,
to the park and museum,
yeah,
and doing your toast there and going back. I just, if that was my neighborhood, I would have figured that one out, because it's really a fun thing to do. There's people wait on the side of the streetcar. They wait at the stops for you.
yeah. I mean, riding the streetcar even when you're not in a parade is a fun experience.
I've never ridden a streetcar.
Yeah. It is.
One day.
Yeah, it's different.
No, wait, I take it back. I did
It's
ride
different than a bus. And the trolleys in San Francisco is a whole different thing, because you're going up and down on those things, and it's kind of indoor, outdoor, so there's a feeling of a little danger.
Yeah. So, I know that one of the big things about y'all is the amount of social aid that y'all do. You know, when I first got in touch with you, you were like, "We're working on service projects right now. If you want to come over and check it out and help us out, whatever, you know." So I know that service is a real big thing with y'all.
Well, it's the first two words in the social aid and pleasure club. Before you get to the pleasure part, you do your social aid, and first you take care of your. We're a 501c7 organization, which is a weird designation. It's, if you make a donation to us, it's not tax deductible, because a social aid and pleasure club is primarily there for itself. It's like, and it doesn't count parades as art. And I have a theory that the reason for the 501c7 comes down to racism. It's, why is that one thing not tax deductible? And why, Rex, what is Rex? Rex, the parading unit, is 501c7. But who puts on that parade? The School of Design.
Yes.
Which is a 501c3 educational organization. That is their beneficence. What they give back is that they do scholarships, they take care of artists. But that is the 501c3. And the 501c7 is not tax deductible, because a parade is not art, which I object to.
Yeah, it's definitely art.
It for sure is. But yeah, all the original social aid pleasure clubs all originated in this side of town here with people who couldn't get insurance. And a social aid and pleasure club guarantees that you get a good funeral and somebody will look after your widow. It's a Tom. It takes a village thing, but it's a self-help group. And so yeah, somehow that's shouldn't be tax deductible, but everybody else is. I'm not quite sure how that worked out, but we do more pro bono, publico work than we do party work.
Right.
We throw one party a year, but every Wednesday we go down under the Cali Open and bring a meal to, it's currently 70, 80, 90 meals. And there was a time in the past year where we had 3 people in the crew with big trucks, and in the first days of the pandemic, the first month, we were moving food around pantries and feeding, just dropping food in neighborhoods, and that's when the community refrigerators started.
Right.
And we're still working with them. We have a pantry down in the lower 9 that's open 24/7, and there's one right up the street here that we help take care of. And we do a lot of moving around of food that comes in, like the government cheese food that comes in, and culture aid, and having a brain fart. Anyway, the bigger food pantries that are bringing in the large food, that then gets broken up into smaller things and sent out. And we still, a couple days a week, people in our crew. Well, you see my hallway.
Yeah.
My hallway, it's not just because we're doing this special holiday thing. My hallway has been a pantry for 2 years. Two of our current queens own Cajun's Pub.
Okay.
And we have had because the bar was shut down and the restaurant was shut down next door for a long time, those walk-in coolers, ice machines, freezers were all just filled with food pantry food.
Right.
And we were at one point last summer we were like cooking major pots of food and dishing out 300 meals at a time. But you burn out on that, and we're down to this thing where every Wednesday we know we could do 70 to 100 meals.
Yeah, but even still, that's an incredible gesture to do. Once a week.
Well, we can't. I don't have the money or the power to solve the homelessness problem, but I know that I can do something to help my neighbors. Yeah. And one of the things that we do is we bring down hot meals that are very New Orleans centric. We realize that those people under the Cali are not homeless; they are New Orleans homeless. Last year, a lot of the food we were getting, government meals, were pretty much number 10 cans of green beans opened up and some spooned in, and they lacked flavor. And they're actually spontaneously women in uptown mid-city, down in the lower 9 and across on the West Bank, all started taking those meals out of the refrigerators, taking them home, deconstructing them, and then adding a little something.
Yeah, give them a little bit of New Orleans love.
And putting it back in, and just because you're homeless doesn't mean...
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy some of the good flavors of New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, I share that page. We were talking earlier that I, try to go feed the homeless, just kind of on my own. Usually a friend will go along, help me hand them out or whatever. But I think po' boys, because I feel the same way. As I go to New Orleans, that's something that I crave, even though I have them all the time,
On soda pop days, we figured out that we should just get Barks Root beer. It's like we try to have variety because everybody likes choice, but it's pretty obvious that the Barks Root beer always goes first.
The winner.
Who wants the ginger ale? Barks.
So you mentioned that some of the queens of the crew. So your crew does have royalty. How do y'all choose your royalty each year?
The cake chooses the royalty.
Well, traditionalist.
It's magic. It's magic. You saw the Jim Carrey in the Andy Kaufman movie, and they show as Andy's dying, he goes to the Philippines, and Andy sees the doctor do the magic trick,
right,
and pull the stone out of his hand. He's had it palm the whole time, and pulling the cancer out. The first time I rode with Funny 40 Fellows, I saw the bean go in the cake. I saw how they did it, and it's.
I hate to hear that.
Oh well, no.
Not that I'm surprised.
The captain. It's the captain chooses.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I choose.
Yeah.
I choose. But you go through the whole. There's ritual.
Yeah.
And so it's not like random cutting of the cake.
Yeah.
And that, no.
I don't know if that was ever really the case. That was always the story.
Well,
I'm not sure that was ever really the case.
In your office where there's nothing at stake more than having to buy the next one, then it's random.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're proposing to a girl, you know which piece
right,
has the ring in it, and it's you got to be careful if the captain is handing you the cake. Odds are
he knows whether the bean is in it or not. You know?
But we our current queens who will abdicate tomorrow night. Our smooth transition of power. They've actually been queens now for 2 years, and which was not in the books for them, but it's been a good long run. And I'm pretty sure that we are the first carnival crew to have 2 transsexual queens reigning at the same time.
That's gotta be.
Seems like it's gotta be. Even we checked with a couple of the gay crews, and it's like, we had one.
Yeah. So you'd also mentioned the streetcar ride. I know that with the repairs that are still occurring
from the
Hard Rock collapse. Unfortunately, the streetcar isn't running over here. Yeah. But I know that y'all still are planning on doing something special with your parade night.
Well, yeah, we're going to pretend like we're going to the streetcar. We're just not going to actually board it. We have good imagination. Our ball starts at 6. We have Cajun music, Gina Forsyth and the Mid-Sea Aces, father and son duo, who were Grammy nominated this last year. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to parade from Carnival here to the porch float to the streetcar stop where we get our picture taken every year. And then we parade through Robert's and through Cajun's Pub, the High Ho, and back to Carnival. And then we have Margie Perez and a big band playing dance music until we stop.
Oh, it is daylight. Well, see, I'm just going to basically walk your typical ride, huh?
Well, they're going to walk the block area.
Yeah, we're going to walk the block.
Here.
Usually, we would walk to the streetcar, get on the streetcar, and then when we get back, go through Robert's and do that. We're doing everything except for the riding.
Yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen next year. But right now, I'm pretty sure that there's still lawyers and insurance companies fighting over who's paying for that. Because even the overhead cables don't exist from Canal Street to like Bienville. Because the collapse took all of that out. Or actually, the crane took all of that out.
Well, did the track itself get damaged over there as well?
No, it's all the power and that crane went through the street and I think went through gas and communication lines and messed up all of that kind of thing. But when your streetcar's not running for 2 years, coming 3 years, the tracks need to be straightened back out, evened back out. Just
grind some sides.
Yeah.
New Orleans is sinking, you know?
Yeah, there it is. So it'll be a while. I'm pretty sure that, it should. They got the Canal Street line running all the way to the river.
Yeah.
Oh, is that finally all the way up?
Yeah. I don't know if the riverfront is running, but.
Yeah, I always said, like, I never rode a streetcar up until, like, 2 years ago when I finally took one with my dad. But I always was like, I'm never going to ride one until I get to ride on, like, a parade streetcar ride. Because it's been so long, I'm like, no, it has to be good now. But then all of a sudden I met my dad, and he's like, oh yeah, we're just going to jump on the streetcar and go over there. I'm like, no, my plan is ruined. But then we went like, I don't know, a half a mile and had to get off because of the hard rock while we were doing the canal line. I was like, I ruined it on that? That's terrible. So I'm not counting that one officially, but I guess technically that was my first ride. So I'm about to join up with y'all next year, apparently.
We do accept new members, and 2 years ago, we were close to being able to fill 2 streetcars with members.
Would you just keep growing cars, or would you?
We had planned on renting 2 cars. Mm-hmm. We had the deposit down on it, and then that happened, and then this happened, the COVID thing, and
we were so excited to see Funny 40 Fellows at least ride last year because we pretty much knew that was it. It was actually a good crowd out for it, because you were like, this is probably it. So
yeah.
Well, I think they probably made the announcement at that point that we just weren't going to have parades. But they had said, well, we're still riding it.
I wish we could.
Yeah. Well, you would have had the same problem last year.
We're talking about a parade, and actually, y'all did get to participate in a parade or a crew last year. That I would say that y'all were one of the prime stops on
the crew of house floats. We were a prime spot, and partly location, but also we put on a pretty good show last year.
Yeah, last year y'all were
we are the champions.
We are the champions.
It was the Freddie Mercury float,
right?
And it was over the top. One of our crew members even has that yellow vinyl Freddie Mercury outfit, and he had a Mercury helmet with the wings made because he was Freddie Mercury, and it was really heavy. It's going in our museum spot in our den. We have a crew den behind Carnival.
All right.
We have our own. Yeah, we have a room with all the boxes, with shadow boxes with memorabilia from our first rides.
And y'all are participating again, I know, this year in Crew of House Float.
We have the old Buzzard is going to float this year. One of our crew members, her dad died. It took almost the entire COVID where she was having to go up northern Louisiana every week and find out when she'd get there if she could get in to see him. And he finally passed, and he was in the Jefferson City Buzzards, and he was called the Old Buzzard. And so
I remember them posting about that.
Our ship float this year is the good ship, the Old Buzzard, and we're floating in the honor of the dread pirate Robertson, who loved Carnival a lot. And our theme this year, Confederacy of Dunces on a Ship of Fools. Obvious Ignatius Riley reference,
right?
But the book title comes from Jonathan Swift, and when a true genius appears, you'll know him for he's followed by a Confederacy of Dunces, and then Ship of Fools is from Plato's Republic and refers to the Senate. So we being a literary bunch, those two books coming together makes for a good theme, and so we have Ignatius sells lucky dogs in the French Quarter dressed as a pirate,
right?
And there's how themes work.
Yeah.
and as soon as I posted that was going to be our theme, one of the Grateful Dead heads in the crew said, "I love that song." Hence the tie-dye on the ship.
So does your parade typically have a theme, not the house floats, but your parade in general?
Oh yeah. theme's important.
Yeah.
Our first year, we just called it New Beginnings, and our first king and queen were Kronos and Rhea. Kronos was the Time Lord.
Right.
And our first king and queen, Chuck and Janice Rogers, owned Bufas. And Chuck is a Doctor Who fanatic, and him being Kronos, the Time Lord, is a pretty obvious thing. The next year was Streetcar named Dace Ayers. The king and queen that year, Tiffany and Kevin Ayer, who own a bunch of properties up in Gentilly, and she rides in the Lady Godiva's.
Okay.
And in Muses. They're also in Crudivoo and Drew. Anyway, Streetcar named Des Ayers. And the next year, Robert's opened after a decade or more, 13 years of being a food desert. We had Robert's, so that year the theme was making groceries on the Champs-Élysées. Then Titanic, because our kings and queens are all Titans. A lot of New Orleans Mardi Gras cruise, it's the Mount Olympus gods.
Right.
Well, their parents, the sons and daughters of Uranus and Gaia, are the Titans who lived on the Elysian plains. And so we are the Titans. So Titanic was the theme that year. And last year we are the champions. Because, again, champs Elysee.
Yeah.
And bad puns. And I can't tell you what next year's theme is, or who the king and queen will be, but the cake knows.
The cake is always right.
So, do y'all do the cake ceremony? I'm guessing at the ball.
We used to do it on the streetcar, but it happens at the ball. I like to do it that night. It gives the next year's king and queen a year to prepare.
Okay.
And well, once you're king, you're always a king. Once queen, always a queen. Once a night, always a night. But once a night is never enough. That's a great grandfather. But
so in your parade, do you guys have any special throws, anything like that? Make little handmade trinkets?
We don't call them throws because it is illegal to throw from a streetcar.
Oh, gifts maybe?
It's gifts and favors.
Favors, nice.
We do favors, and we do favors for everyone else. In it's 12th night is the night that the kings arrive with the gifts. Mm-hmm. So for us, that is 12th night is everyone else's Christmas. And why are people getting birthday presents when it's not their birthday? Whose birthday is it on December 25th? Is it your birthday? No. Why are you getting presents? And the kings aren't even here with the presents, so I don't get that whole December 25th gift giving thing. Supposed to stay home and have a little feast. And
well, as luck would have it, the 25th is my son's birthday.
Well, there you go.
He turned 21 this year.
And he doesn't get presents.
Oh, no, he gets plenty. But yeah, he doesn't get a birthday party ever. That's the one thing he lost.
Yeah, there it is. So we exchange favors, and then we have stuff that goes off the porch.
Hello.
Cindy Wexler.
Hello, my captain.
This is one of our board members.
Other people and cameraman.
Just drove in from
camera guy.
Pardon me for driving myself.
Okay, so I do want to kind of bounce back a little bit to the Calliope camp. One of the things that y'all were working on yesterday was you were preparing bags that you were going to give to everyone at the Calliope camp.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that project, because I was astounded when I saw this stack.
Well, we have over there 72 bags for men, and over there 18 bags for women, and the backpack has, well, everybody gets a present and Kleenex and mouthwash. Oh, more Kleenex. Oh, Ritz crackers with, and what do we got here? Hand warmers. Everybody needs a hand warmer. More presents. Razor blades. Toothpicks. You know, a breakfast. Some cookies. A flashlight. A razor. One of those space blankets, emergency blankets. It's cookies. What am I seeing? Dried fruit. Tuna salad on a cracker. So everybody gets one of those, and they get a sleeping bag, which is a shopping bag with a tarp, 2 blankets, 2 towels, a pillow, and a bunch of socks. And warm things. It's stuff that a person who's living in a tent can use, including the backpack. I mean, and last year we started like a miniature economy under the Calliope there, because everybody doesn't get all exactly the same things. Sometimes we only had 50 of something, or 60 or 70, and we needed 90. So not everybody gets all the same stuff, and some people are going to love the white socks, but not the black socks.
Right.
And so there was this whole exchange going on, because some people like tuna, and there's a can of Spam in each one of these, and Vienna sausages, and so there'll be a whole
the trading.
Trading.
Oh, I don't like tuna salad, but I like Spam.
So that's we've figured out. I've been working with the homeless since the 70s. It's just something I'm always on the verge of myself, so it's always been like a good hedge against it somehow. But I was in Austin, Texas in the 80s when Reagan emptied the mental institutions, and it was just all of a sudden this crisis in Austin, and that's 1984, 85, and the problem's worse than it was then. But we started the Street People's Advisory Council, and what I found early on was when you ask for donations, people send nasty clothes, use things that are ripped. You get the pile of, at the end of every hurricane benefit, you see there's this pile of stuffed animals that no one wants.
Yeah, that are just filthy looking,
and when you go into one of those warehouses where that all is being gone through, there's a smell, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah,
and so what we do, I figured out a long time ago that things that homeless people need. It's no good to give them a can of tuna if you don't give them a can opener, right? And what good is a box of macaroni and cheese if you don't have milk and a tablespoon of butter and a place to clean water and a place to cook it? So we only give things that are useful,
right?
And in this case, the backpack is
the backpack is super useful in itself.
So it's the least we can do.
How many members do you have?
It's coming up 80.
Wow.
So that, you're doing a lot with, that few of people, That's a
We're
tremendous
small but
service.
mighty.
Yeah.
There's probably another 20 people who contribute and help out.
Yeah.
They're like honorary members,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Well, people that I have friends from around the country who sent a box of stuff, toothpaste. So it's a little bit of, and some of the stuff that's in here came from Culture Aid. The tuna packs came from Culture Aid. The spam. One of our members, there's snowbirds. They come down for a couple months every year. This year, when they came down from Yonkers, their trailer had 80 cans of spam in it. They got it.
Just in
They're
case.
BJ's wholesaler. Well,
I can't tell you the last time I've had spam. Tastes like ham, right?
Yeah.
I highly recommend. There's a new spam that's low sodium and low fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicacy.
I make masubi, and because a lot of time when you cook spam, you add stuff to it, and anything that has more salt than regular spam is too much salt.
Yeah.
But the new one also, it's not quite as gelatiny.
Yeah.
the low fat, low sodium.
Try it on the cracker.
Where can people follow the crew and get more information and how they can help the crew?
We are the Societe de Champs-Élysées, and if you use society with a Y, you're not getting to our website. It's Societe, Society, DES, Day, Champs, Champs, Elysee, ELYSEE, and we're .org,
Right.
because we're organizers, not communists. And and at our website, we're also on the Facebook, but the website has ways to join us, to donate. PayPal at societedechamps-élysées.org gets to us.
Okay. So I really appreciate you giving us this time to learn more about the crew.
Well, I'm glad to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to wish you a happy Carnival and a happy Mardi Gras. And signing out, we'll see you on the route.
Happy Mardi Gras.